YouTube, it's Mike here. I got this little stove. Not really sure, it's not good for a whole lot, but we've been getting snowstorms and whatever. It's been crazy, and got my old Massey here with the motor out, and I gotta put another motor in and figure out what I'm gonna do. I don't know if you remember, it's not that long ago I was messing with my rocket stove outside in the grass and the rain and the whatever. And I had left this tank out, which is a water tank now, like a boiler I've been using it for. And so I thought I'd better bring it in. I'd been thawing some stuff out. We finally got some above freezing temperatures today. And so I had it on here and got the ice melted out of it, and then it was blowing a bit of steam nicely over to here to thaw this out. And I thought, well, I should go get my steam engine, because I had kind of left it outside by mistake and thought I better make sure it's not frozen. So I thought I'd warm it up, and I always wanted to kind of attach it to the tank, make my my hose run as short as I could here. Right now we're running on live steam, and it's a pretty hot steam once it gets going. I've been messing with it for a few minutes. I should have probably showed you. Ended up pulling this line off that goes down into the piston. I think what happens is over time, being a two-stroke engine, there's no real lubrication method. There is roller bearing in this end, and if you can see that in there, there's a roller bearing as well. There, we'll turn the light on. There's roller bearing in there as well, and so they do all right, but the actual piston and rings in here I think was getting a bit dry. And I also know that this air gun that I use, I have no way to get to it without burning myself right now, but what would you want to call it, the valve on it, I guess, it gets sticky the odd time. I think it's the O-ring starts to harden or whatever. So this is actually working pretty good. I put some anti-seize down in the top here. I pulled this line off, put some anti-seize down in there. Got a bit of anti-seize into my friction zones and the valving. And now it's taken off pretty good. I went pretty dirty on the bolt on. It's just some bolts and washers, and it's actually a door plate off an old antique door. You can hear it's still, things aren't quite hot enough yet, I guess. Although just since I started this video, I've noticed that this thing's sped up quite a bit, and I have this valve not quite open. I'm not sure if I get much more wow. Yeah, I think it's gonna go a little faster. So now that's open. I'm hoping the weight of the motor is just playing tricks with me, because it seems as if this tank doesn't have as much water in it. So yeah, that's actually going to speed it up pretty good. I don't know why this kind of thing still excites me, but according to my videos, it excites a lot of people. I do have the saw blade on here. I'm touching it right now. I had turned it around because I had it running on, I think I had it running on air last, and there were some kids around. And really, to pull this nut off in the center and pull the flywheel off, which has just got some rubber in there to create a bushing, and you can see it's not perfect. Although I do have it kind of strategically set so that the weight's coming down when it's under, there is a slight compression part of the stroke in here. I actually look at this, I know it's a two-stroke engine running in a two-stroke style, but basically I look at it as a four-part way this works, because as the piston's going down, it only gets about half of the stroke that's compressed steam being shoved in through the top. So the quarter of the rotation is under pressure. Then another one's the exhaust. The other one's supposed to be the intake, but it's kind of a free float. And then I actually have it so it's compressing before the steam is entering. a little bit. So it's not a huge amount of compression, but it's enough that it makes a difference. I think it really enhances the performance because there's already a pressure in that cylinder before the steam's injected. And once it gets going like this, I mean, it's obviously still spitting a bit of water out, so it's still on the, what I would say, the cold side. Who knows if it'll ever warm up that it doesn't condense some. But if you look at that exhaust, see if we can even get a shot. It's not showing. It's not really showing much steam coming out there, but maybe it's waterlogged. That muffler, I was going to take it off and I never did, but I think that's one of the reasons it's so quiet. In fact, I can hear the steam in this hose almost louder as it rushes past everything than the rest of the engine. So if I had some sort of a medium size charging coil on here, which, I mean, there's a couple of magnets inside, so if I had this flywheel centered, I could definitely put some coils in here and be making a little bit of power, maybe not a huge amount, but I'd also be heating my shop at the same time anyway, and it doesn't make a huge amount of noise. So for a few seconds worth of work, and you know, it would, I could be making a little bit of power, maybe charging a battery or topping up a battery or something. So yeah, it's going pretty good. I'm gonna stop and check the time. The wood in there is kind of at a orangey blue charcoal stage. One of the other things that had taken me a while is messing around bolting this on or whatever. I kind of forgotten about the fire, and I was so hot that I didn't even think to put anything in it. And then all of a sudden I realized when I went to actually fire the engine, once I had everything connected, that there was no steam left. So apparently you do have to have some heat. And I think with a little bit of fine tuning, I could have this engine so it would start on its own. Right now it doesn't. You do have to give it past its first compression cycle, and I think it's because of the compression cycle that I have that issue. But I don't consider it a major issue if you're around. And if you did have, say I ran a motor off there, I could have the motor try to work as a startup, maybe put it on the thermostat, and then once it starts to produce more power than it's taking, which would mean the motor's running, maybe then I could switch it to the diode circuit for charging. I don't know. Right now, I should probably just get back to working on my tractor, and yeah, I don't know what you think. Let me know if you have any thoughts. This is all garbage. Expired propane tank, piece of air line that blew out just before the end of the line, so, or it got cut or whatever, I can't remember. And so I put this together, and this was a weed whacker. I'm trying to remember why it didn't run, but there was something messed up with it anyway. Likely the carburetor was screwed, and I didn't want to pay for parts because they're not worth anything anymore. So instead of crushing it for scrap, I made a steam engine. And I have lots of these air guns that are pretty cheap at Lowe's or wherever. So yeah, I'll see what we can get out of her. All right.